Good morning. So I just want to check in with you here and just kind of chat a little bit. Um, one of the reasons I'm putting together this Fit for the Fourth cohort is because if I'm being honest, a few months ago, well, let me back up. So I recently shared that I have run every single day for just over 2 years. I haven't missed a single day. Um, and that means at least 1 mile a day. And I'll be honest, most of those days over the last few months have been generally like 1 mile. Get 1 mile in, warm up, cool down to a workout. Um, and I started wondering, like, man, it's been a while since I've even run 3, 4, 5 miles. And I would attempt to like every so often, and I was like, man, this feels just much harder than it used to. And it's easy to chalk it up to age and being a new dad and travel. But the truth was, I wasn't like really pushing. I didn't have like what's the why would I run more than a few miles or whatever. And so I started kind of thinking like, man, maybe I'm just not in that good of shape anymore. And anyway, so I sat down and like mapped out a plan. And I decided I was going to do a 9 mile race in August. And so I deconstructed a plan, right? So I constructed like a running schedule for the month of April and May and June and July. I got it all out on paper. And so it gave me focus. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about. The difference for me now, since I've created more focus and more intention with my training, is all of a sudden I went from not being sure if I could run 3 or 4 miles to yesterday running 7 miles and doing it like I'm not gonna say it was easy, but I did it at a much quicker pace than I had initially intended. And so I really chalked that up to having a clear plan to follow and taking kind of all the guesswork out. And so that's what I kind of want to encourage, you as you consider or not consider this Fit for the Fourth cohort. I really believe that what a lot of people are missing, and this goes again for myself and just the people I've worked with over 14, 15 years now, is we all kind of know what to do, but we're not always putting ourselves in a position to be successful at that. And from my experience, a lot of that comes down to having accountability, having a clear plan, being in an environment that pushes us to grow and change. Because let's face it, growth and change are just naturally difficult. Like most people don't grow a lot or change a lot after they leave like the school system. There's Saw a study a while ago, after the age of 35, we typically are pretty much um, indebted into like the thoughts, the feelings, the worldviews that we've had up until that point. Meaning, after 35, we kind of are who we are unless we intentionally push ourselves to grow. And growth, again, by nature, is uncomfortable. I watch my daughter get older. She's growing teeth. She's having little growth spurts. That is uncomfortable. It is painful, literally, physically. And so I want to remind you of that, you know, and again, whether you want to do this cohort or not, just remember that in general, that where you're at now versus where you want to be is going to demand growth, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to demand a new part of you. What got you to where you're at in your life, your fitness, your health, your work, your career, what got you here isn't going to get you to the next level. It just doesn't work that way. You can keep doing what you're doing, you keep being who you're being, and you can be completely happy with that. That's totally cool. Like, I'm all on board with that. If you're happy, I'm happy. But if on some level you know that you could be more of who you are, that you could not even just be doing more, but you could be living at a different level, a higher level, living more authentically, living healthier, being better, then you owe it to yourself to keep pursuing that. And again, I'm just going to remind you, it's going to be uncomfortable, which is why support can be the missing link. It can be so important. I know times for me in my life where I've narrowed the distance or narrowed the gap from where I am to where I want to be the quickest is when I've hired coaches and when I've worked with people to help elevate my level of thinking, elevate my skill set, elevate my belief in myself. Gosh, that's been huge with coaches that I've worked with. It's just having someone to have your back, having someone that gets what you want to accomplish and has done it themselves personally. And so, anyway, I could talk on and on about this, but I know there's some of you today, Sunday morning, waking up. Maybe you're feeling a little groggy. Maybe you didn't eat so good this weekend. Maybe you had too many cocktails, whatever. Um, and you're kind of like already having Sunday scares. You're kind of like, oh, how's this week going to go? Or kind of just going to get through the day. And my hope for you is that you kind of snap out of that and that you make a choice that Sundays don't have to be like this. Life doesn't have to be like this, but it just takes intention. It takes a plan. It takes effort. It takes growth. And again, growth is uncomfortable. So, anyway, lean into it. I'm here to help however I can. If this resonates, let me know. If not, that's cool too. So, enjoy your Sunday.